Greetings, everyone. I'm Brad Tolinski, and welcome to the best guitar show in the world. And the reason it's the best guitar show in the world is because you are here. And so are our special guests, Ballsack, the Jaws of Death, and Pustulus Maximus, great rock band GWAR. The show is brought to you tonight by Positive Grid, makers of the incredible Spark Smart Amp. For those of you unfamiliar with the Spark, it's a 40-watt practice amp that you can plug in and play right away, just like a traditional amp. But connecting it to the free Spark app unlocks some really, really cool features, including up to 10,000 tones on the Positive Grid tone cloud and tons more. So definitely check it out. But now, straight from their lair in the Antarctica, we'd like to welcome Shredder Supreme Pustulus Maximus and the legendary Ballsack, the Jaws of Death, the guitarist from the mighty GWAR. And my first question is, it's almost Halloween, so what are you guys going as?
That's a good question. Normally, we don't get to wear Halloween costumes. We gotta dress like our normal, boring selves because we usually always have a show. But this year, because of the COVID, no show. So we could be whatever we want. And I'm going to be the sister from Frozen. Not the main character, but the sister that nobody likes.
Sounds good. As everybody on Earth, who of course cower in your presence, knows, you're not from this planet. Could you give our viewers, people who may not be unfamiliar with the GWAR, a little background on your origins?
Yeah, of course. You can go to Google instead of having me explain it, and Google www.gwarorigins.com.org. But no, we all come from different planets. You know, I'm from planet Crust, obviously. If you Google search my name, you would know that.
Yeah.
You know, Ballsack's from.
And
where are you from?
I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to talk about my childhood. It gets me upset. But, you know, actually we have different backgrounds because Pustulus hasn't been on Earth as long as I have. He was fortunate and escaped being banished here back in your prehistory, and he's been partying it up in outer space while I and the rest of the GWAR guys have been stuck here on Earth. And we got sent here because we got into a little bit of trouble in outer space. We may have screwed up a few wars, blown up the wrong planet or something like that. I don't know. So we got banished here to Earth, which is the most insignificant planet in the universe, by the master of all reality, because he figured we couldn't mess anything up here worse than it already was. But of course he was wrong.
It's the 30th anniversary of your classic album, Scum Dogs of the Universe, released in 1990. When so many of us are trying our best to forget that it ever came out, why should we rejoice?
Who's trying to forget that it came out?
How could you forget such a masterpiece? An audio masterpiece, you know, but the re-release is something special though. It's we actually dug up the original master recordings, the tapes, you know,
literally dug it up. That's
maybe the kid. Yeah, well, because we buried it,
in a kimchi pot in our backyard.
So, you know, the sounds were kind of fucked up and dingy and moldy, but you know, we polished them up real good. And maybe the kids don't even know that, but we used to have to record to physical tape back in the day.
Yeah.
We didn't have Pro Tools yet, not for another like 20 years, but 10 years, whatever. Long story short, the album was a little dated with some of the effects, the chorusy effects on the guitars and the sauce they put on it. And, you know, we also wanted to just uncover artifacts that you may not have heard on the original cut. So there's something special in there. So it's not only is it for the diehard GWAR fan, but it's also for people that may be your introduction to GWAR. You know, it's still a classic record.
And it's different than all these people that are just remastering their albums and putting it out. We actually went back and started, you know, we're not recreating it, but it's a whole new take on the album. It's definitely does not sound like the same old Scum Dogs.
You took off all that junk that made it, you know, corny and sound like the 90s, it sounds like.
A little bit, yeah. It's just some of that stuff's just been scaled back. I mean, there was just, I think, and plus the band. I wasn't part of the group then, but it didn't go necessarily in the direction that they wanted. And this was kind of the chance to reinvent it, so to speak. But it's important as a fan of the record, you don't want to butcher something that's already been created, that's already an art, that's already something that people have fallen in love with. So I think they've improved it without taking away from it, which is a very important thing for any classic record.
And also, we're not trying to like destroy the old Scum. We're not going to everybody's house and collecting their old copy of Scum Dogs and breaking it in front of their sister. It's like we're still
as much as they would love that.
We're letting the original beloved version still exist, but this is just a new take on it.
Yeah, it's not like we're not doing what those other guys did and replacing the bass player and drummer because it was cost effective. Who did that? Who was that?
I know who did it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, and that's messed up. I know why they did it. It was a financial thing, but I mean, for us as the fans, I want the classic record and the classic performance. I want those guys on the record.
So you guys are live streaming a performance of the entire album on October 30th.
Devil's Night. Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, we've never actually played every single song off the record at one time live. It's never been done. Even when the album was brand new, we were still like, playing a lot of stuff off our first album and mixing in stuff. But some of the songs like King Queen hasn't been played live in probably 20, 25 years. So
yeah. And we play the album version of King Queen, but back to the remix record, there was an extended cut of King Queen that's now on the vinyl record we've reissued, and that is like it's 4 times as long.
But I guess at this point we probably let the cat out of the bag that some of our old Scumdog brethren from the Scumdogs days, like Slyminster Hyman, Executioner, and for the first time in a very, very long time, the original Techno Destructo will be appearing on your web screen.
On the internet.
Yeah, on the internet with us. We thought he hated us so much that he would never, ever be in the same room with us again, but it's going to change on Devil's Night.
Yeah, man. Time wounds all heals, man, or heals all wounds, one of those things.
Actually, it could be a trap, though. He's on his way here. He might just be saying he's going to perform with us, and he's actually going to kill us all. But I guess we'll find out.
So what's your favorite song? Have you guys rehearsed this? What's your favorite song to play from the album?
I like playing Death Pod a lot.
Yeah, this album is actually, I forgot. It's like the songs are a lot of fun to play. They're just classic, like 90s metal that, I don't know. They're just fun songs. Every single one of them is fun.
The Mighty Death Pod tells us the complete origin story of GWAR.
You've done some homework.
I've done a little homework. So how does it, what is the Death Pod?
See, that's something that people haven't really known for a long time, but we discussed it more it was actually a weapon that Odorous was very fond of, but it was a weapon that looked like a pod, and it wasn't a bomb. It was actually a living thing, and you could launch it at another planet, and it would each one would do something different and horrible whenever it landed. Some would like have sex with your grandmother. Other ones would burrow into the middle of the earth and cause the core to explode. But you never knew what you were going to get with a death pod.
You've never seen my grandmother. In the sacred text of Scumdogs of the Universe says that you were part of an elite fighting force. And I'm sort of wondering what you guys do in the Antarctica to stay in shape. Is it ab rollers, Nordic Trek?
Crunches.
Just
crunches.
Crunches.
Captain Crunch, Crunch Berries, Peanut Butter Crunch, all crunches.
Yeah, that's very kind of you to say that we look like we're in shape, but with the COVID, I've definitely put on the COVID-19. I think it might be more like the COVID-25.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Pustulus. It looks like you need to get back into shape a little bit to be an elite, part of the elite fighting force.
Well, we haven't been able to go to the grocery store or anything for months. We've been stuck in this fortress. We finally decided we can actually be in the same room together. I mean, I just ate a tub of black fondant last night because we're down to the confections now.
Nice.
You know what? That stuff will turn your poop green.
Yeah, which I heard is going to be roughly the concept for maybe your next record. Are you guys working on anything new?
We've been, yeah. I wanted to think of something very funny and witty and clever to say there, but yeah, we're working on new stuff. It's going to be different because it's not old, it's new.
Yeah, it's been difficult in 2020 because Blothar is hiding in the basement. He won't come out and talk to any of us, and Jizmac keeps playing out in the front yard. We can't get all of us in the same room together. This is the first time actually Pustulus and I have been in the same room together in 4 months.
Maybe the idea of green poop will lure them in, though. You never know. Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got some new stuff in the works. It just seems like, will it be a full length record or an EP or a single? It's like we don't really know yet. It seems like it feels like the days of full length records are slowly coming to an end or quickly coming to an end. I mean, pop artists don't release full lengths anymore, and so if Thriller was one song, we're working on our Thriller right now.
Nice.
We're going to condense the quality of the entire Thriller record and truncate it into 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
And then we're going to expand the quality of the Thriller video from its original 17 minutes into 14 hours of entertainment.
You guys should kidnap Quincy Jones. It shouldn't be too tough for you guys to do. Just drag him right up to the south or down to the South Pole and just make them sit in there and work with you guys.
I mean, there's some accommodations up here. There's a military base right up the road where we get our mail sent. There's a Burger King on base. That's where I've been working for since March, whenever all the touring shut down.
Wait, guys. This just in. In honor of you, in honor of our special guests, Positive Grid is currently offering 15% off their Spark amp as part of a Halloween Monsters deal. That's over $40 off. And the offer ends on November 1st. So jump on it now. And additionally, if you guys out there use the code GWAR10, you'll get an extra $10 off your order. So that's $50 off a Spark amp. Now's the time. Okay, we'll return back to our interview.
Yeah, so, I mean, I stole that one from somebody who got it for 15% off, so I feel 15% less guilty for taking it from them.
So Scum Dogs of the Universe, just getting back to that, featured your, it's considered the GWAR masterpiece, Sick of You. It's sort of your stairway to heaven, if you will. And it has the classic lines in it. Your face is gross and you eat white toast. Which begs the question, what's so bad about white toast?
Carbs, man. Bleached carbs. It's terrible for your body. We knew that way back in the day before anyone else.
We hated toast before toast became trendy. Like a whole restaurant's dedicated to avocado toast and every kind of toast you can imagine, but we hate the original white toast and any incarnation of it after that.
And
too.
People that eat it, for that matter, they're just savages, tasteless sons of bitches.
I know you guys, you have a reputation for not liking humans too much, but it seems like you like ACDC. You guys do a great cover of If You Want Blood, You Got It. Do ACDC count as human beings?
Well, I mean, they paid us an homage by releasing that song. I mean, it was something that we originally wrote, and we had left it in some kangaroo dens, the original tapes, and they'd found them, and they did such a good job at it. We let them go. But anybody else that tries to copy our music usually falls the way of the sword. But ACDC, they're masters of rock and roll, much like ourselves.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's news. I think that's huge breaking news that you guys originally wrote that song.
We invented modern music as it stands today.
Well, what's interesting about AC/DC, the fact that there's a highway to hell and only a stairway to heaven says a lot about the anticipated traffic numbers, I would say,
I think, there being a highway being that the earth is flat, you don't have to go down, you go straight across. So Led Zeppelin is a lie. It's perpetrated by round earth theorists.
Yes, absolutely.
That you could elevate off of this plane.
Listen,
Whoa.
You guys are so handsome. It's easy to forget that both of you are musicians and not models. Can you tell us about, I want to remind the audience that we are talking about music and musicians and great composers here. Can you tell us about your mighty axes and your practicing habits?
Oh, yeah.
Here's my new Mighty Axe, is the brand new ball sack signature model, which Schecter's just put out this year. Practicing habits, that's a little bit more difficult. See, I don't really practice because I'm really concentrating more on my modeling career than my musician career. But Pustulous.
Practice is for people that need it.
I was just sort of wondering, do you guys ever play scales or you just grow them?
Just grow them for the most part, Shred a bunch of diddly willies here and there. But
are you going to honor us with some mighty power chords?
yeah, have you ever heard of Nicky Rose?
Nicky Rose.
All right,
Yeah.
This is this is a great song by Nicky Rose. You have to Google this one too. It's called Warriors. Played out of this positive grid amplifier. Oh yeah.
Are you guys playing through a positive grid Spark?
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
It's got that.
I hope.
That sound. It goes. Warriors. Come out and play it. It's that terrible. You should really look it up. It's amazing.
Who is that again?
I'm so glad.
Nicky Rose. Nicky Rose. Nobody's ever discovered the true identity of this creature.
I'm so glad that I did mushrooms this evening. It's helping the whole thing out. So Balsac, your live performance on October 30th, will you get a chance to summon the thunder and play some lead guitar, or will you just be content to make the earth tremble and shake by playing rhythm?
No, I wouldn't call what I do leads, but I make noises that are non-rhythmic a lot of times.
And Pustulous, you're sort of a new guy. What is it like playing with the legendary Balsac?
Well, it's I have to look up to him just because he's 3 feet taller than I am.
Everyone looks up to me.
Yes, that's great. But as the old saying goes, if you ain't Balsac, you ain't shit. But as far as new guy goes, there's only been one other lead guitar player that's been in the band longer than me, and that is Flatus Maximus. But yeah, it's been 8 years, man. 8 years. I'm quitting at 10.
Still the new guy.
Quitting at 10 though. I'm gonna do it like Heaven's Gate style, like that Applewhite dude.
You got your sneakers.
So
Oh yeah.
so,
got my
so
purple
Max,
blanket and
Maximus,
everything.
does Ballsack ever give you any tips? And I don't mean that kind.
Oh, in both kinds. Oh yeah. No, shows me how to play, tells me all the stuff I'm playing wrong all the time. Yep. That was just for fun.
Yeah, man, that sounds sweet. So I have to thank you guys for granting us an audience this evening. I know that you've managed to get your hands on Spark. Have you found it useful in your endless thirst for world domination?
It's pretty cool. I think one of the most clever pieces about it is that it is just more than a practice amp. So when we're trying to get a part that most guitar players can sympathize, you might have to play the same piece like 50 to 100 times to get it right, or to at least dissect what's happening. So the fact that you can just throw a tune on your phone and or your mom's phone and sync it to that thing and play along to it, that's pretty cool. So you can play along to every GWAR song.
Yeah. And we look forward to doing that. Is it true that Positive Grid was going to build a GWAR signature model, but none of you knew how to write your names?
I know how to scribble. But it's got to be big. It's got to be this tall.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be much too big for a practice amp just because we can't write small.
Yeah.
Well,
it's hard to hold a writing utensil in claws too, or your hooves.
Well, it's just like, when most people practice, you get your roadies right to move in your full stacks into your bedroom and turn everything and tune your guitar for you, and then you can get to practice. That's what everybody else does, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems kind of ridiculous to have such a small practice amp. It's like not going to hurt my roadies' back at all.
I can turn this thing on, but I still had somebody else, bring it into the room for me. It comes with a lot of packaging. I can't strain the money makers trying to get that stuff apart.
Well, fellas, that about wraps up our Halloween edition of the best guitar show in the world. I'm your host, Brad Tolinski, and once again, we'd like to thank Ballsack, the Jaws of Death, and Pustulus Maximus, the great guitarists from GWAR. Be sure to tune into their epic performance of Scum Dog of the Universe. I think it's on GWAR.net, right?
Yeah, that's
sure.
Where you get your tickets and then it streams somehow. I don't understand.
On October 30th. It's going to be epic. And thank you to our terrific sponsors, Positive Grid, makers of the astounding 40-watt Spark Smart Amp. Positive Grid's currently offering 15% off a Spark amp right now as part of their Halloween Monsters deal. That's over $40 off, and it ends on November 1st, so jump on it now. And additionally, if you use this code GWAR10, you'll get an extra $10 off your order. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you for coming by.
Remember, kids, there's no money above the 5th fret.